Hello friends, let's talk about this week in the market. Now we've had a pretty good week here. I want to talk about a few main stocks we have been following here, especially this week. Let's see what happened this week with them. Let's recap where they're at, what they're doing, what to expect. Let's make this a fast to the point situation video, what is going on and what we're seeing right now with these companies. Now let's start first with BBIG here. Now Vinco is coming off an amazing, week, as in last week we had a huge week with Vinco. But coming off of last week going into this week from Monday to Friday here, we've seen nothing but pretty much a trail down into this $8, $7 range with Vinco and almost hitting back into a 9 on the 16th, but still falling short in volume and movement. So when it comes to Vinco here, I am very bullish on the company. I believe what they are doing. I like what they are doing. I like who they are speaking to as investors, who they are speaking to as a market, as a company. And I think that's such a big thing when you're investing into a company. Do you believe in actually what the company is doing and what they're trying to go after? Do you understand the concept of what they're trying to do? And with Vinco going after this NFT crypto digital marketing company, and with them about to merge with another company, there's a lot of big things going on here with this company. So there's a lot of meat left on the bone right here with them. There's going to be a lot more coming out here. So we could definitely see BBIG here play around this $6, $7 mark. But like I said, I am still very bullish on this company, and I would not be surprised to see this start swinging up again here very soon. Now Vinco today did not have much go on in volume and only hit around 80 million in volume. So when seeing Vinco this week, we can obviously tell the volume is way off from last week. Incredibly different right here scenario we're looking at. The 15th we had only not even 50 million in volume, but then the 16th here we had around almost 103 million, and then today we fell short again with just 80 million in volume with Vinco. So this has been a incredibly topsy-turvy situation we have seen here with Vinco. So friends, going into next week, that'll be the third week of Vinco actually having a lot more investors involved with it, a lot more volume in it, and to me honestly this coming week with Vinco here is going to be like a fresh start. We had last week just the amazing volume, everyone's buying in, buying out, selling, trading. There was just a lot of trading going on. This week there was a lot more sell-off, a little bit of trading here there obviously, but not a lot of wiggle room we saw this week with Vinco. So going into this next week, I am curious to see if Vinco can start building itself up again, and we can see it build and sustain itself at least on this $8, $9 range and stay there until we hear more details about merger, about the company, what it's planning to do here in the near future. So that is BBIG. Okay, let's talk about Globalstar, everyone's favorite, and you know what, I think a lot of people have been upset with this stock, but that's understandable because we have seen a lot of things going on with this right now, which is Globalstar. So obviously I am not going to beat a dead horse over its head right now because we have oh my gosh, we have talked about this Apple situation, we've talked about the Riley situation. We've talked about everything there is to talk about with Globalstar. And right now, there's no more news. There's nothing else that's come out. We're kind of just like, the dust is still settling from this week, from the Apple event, which, if you don't know, Globalstar was involved in rumors of they were possibly going to be working with Apple, which that has come out to be really not false, not true, really nothing, because nothing was said. There's no real news. Not to say it could not happen in the future, but it doesn't look like it anytime soon. But obviously what that did was shoot up Globalstar to a crazy amount in volume, crazy amount in the bid price, and we almost hit that $3 mark with Globalstar, which would have made history with Globalstar. So all in all, it was a fun week to watch and see what Globalstar was trying to do in this market here. We can see when the news broke right here with this Apple news, which was on 8/30. We went from a measly 6 million average in volume all the way to almost 600 million in volume the next market day opening. And then we were having crazy days of volume, still pretty much leading up to the Apple event, which was the 14th right there, in which Globalstar just fell short and sold off. And since then has just been really just sustaining this 180, 170 mark and playing around there. So what does this mean for Globalstar at this point? Well, at this point, we're still waiting on news with Globalstar. You know what? We had this big hurrah and we had good things come out of it. We saw these new numbers with Globalstar. We saw Globalstar hit these new peaks. We saw Globalstar bring in a lot of new investors. A lot more attention was brought to it. And that's always good, especially when you are trying your hardest to stay in a stock that you have so much invested in and that you're trying to get somewhere with. It's not crazy when people become millionaires off penny stocks. It happens all the time, guys. It's not talked about in mainstream news, but there's plenty of people every year that invest loads of money into a penny stock, and then that penny stock turns into something. And whether it's $5 or maybe even $8, you got to know that there's a lot of people that have been invested in Globalstar since the 30, 40, 60, 70, maybe even dollar mark here in Globalstar. And they're really holding on here and waiting for Globalstar to turn into something a little more meatier, to where maybe they cash out and then take that money and start putting in other stocks, as in dividend stocks or just, Apple stocks, whatever it's going to be here. But to me, Globalstar is one of those companies. Now, when we can see Globalstar hit some kind of crazy number here, I believe that's going to take X amount of time. That's going to take a little bit of time here, obviously. I don't think this Apple news was devastating for Globalstar. That's what I'm trying to say. I believe it was good. It got the stock up. It got it moving. It brought in a lot of new people. And we don't know what's going to happen next week. We could have something new happen. Something new that's going to bring in a bigger pulse with Globalstar here. So I'm still very bullish on Globalstar. I'm still very much in the running with this and holding on to it, chasing it. Okay, friends, let's talk about AQST here. Now, with this, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I do not usually invest in pharmaceutical companies because, to me, a lot of pharmaceutical stocks are literally Russian roulette a lot of the time, because they can tell you they're waiting for an approval with the FDA, they're waiting for this, that, and then usually most of the time it gets pushed back, something happens, and you're sitting there with your money wrapped up in something. You're like, oh my God. But for this company, there is something big that is going to be happening. Now, I don't believe this company is going to pop anytime soon. And when I say pop, I mean like even hitting an $8 to $10 mark. Now, what we're really looking for with this is that this company has an FDA approval coming up. It has been set, it has been scheduled. In December 23rd of this year, we should know if the FDA has approved the new drug that this company is trying to get out. So obviously leading up to that, I really don't know that we would see much movement until around the middle of November going into December. So I would kind of put this on the watch list as a little bit of a Christmas present to yourself, because obviously leading up to that moment, there's going to be huge movement in the stock, especially if it looks like it's a go for the FDA approval with this company, the medicine that they are trying to put out in the pharmaceutical market. But for the past 6 months, it's been an up and down situation. Now, I don't really see this going below $3. I think it's going to stay here pretty steady, especially leading up to December here, to see what's really going to happen here. And we're going to have, and listen, we're going to have more news come out with this situation. It's going to really start to pump up here, probably towards the end of October going into November, especially if things look like they're getting stronger, they're more of a go. So this is why people are talking about this situation so much, because it's almost like, you're kind of guaranteed, if you can get in cheap enough, to make your money and either stay here or just cash out after December. But I do think this stock is going to be like up and down from a 420 to a 3 high 80, 70 range for the next few weeks, probably a month or two. I really don't see much going on here. I don't see people really pulling the trigger until closer to November here, even somewhere maybe even October. But I think this is definitely one to watch, and I definitely think this is one that you can possibly make a lot of money on if you're patient enough and to really watch this one. I've definitely seen things like this with pharmaceutical companies that come out, that like they're coming out with a product, but they're waiting for FDA approval, and there's always a strong build up. And then of course, after it happens, there's going to be sell off. But this is definitely one that I would pay very close attention to if you're looking for something like towards the end of the year to wrap up with a pump and dump, or maybe you're just wanting to invest in a pharmaceutical company and have that in your portfolio. If you could get in cheap enough, this may be one to do a little bit more due diligence on. But like I said, anytime you're investing in a pharmaceutical company, it's always risky, because I have been here a few times before where it's like, okay, we have this date set, and then it gets pushed back, or it just like disappears. It just doesn't happen. But there is a lot of information on this. There is a lot of signs that this is happening and that this will take place. But from what it looks like right now, this is going down. This is a done deal. This is happening, and we should know more here in December. So friends, wrapping up this video, it's been quite the week in the stock market. Thank you all so much for being here. I've enjoyed talking to you guys. I hope everyone has had an amazing week in the market, made some money, made some good investments. I'm very, very excited about this coming week. This week, I feel like we were kind of just kicking the can down the road with a lot of things. And usually when we have those kind of weeks, we kind of get somewhere the next week with kicking the can into the net here. So I'm very excited to see if this coming week brings in a lot more volume, especially with the stocks that we have been talking about here on this video. And guys, do me a favor, like leave me comments and let me know what other stocks you are excited about, you're investing in. These are not the only things that I invest in or am kind of like obsessed about. There's a lot of other things that I like investing in, but let me know what you guys like and what you're invested in. Let me know if you know about things that are like coming up with FDA approval, companies merging. Let me know. I love this kind of stuff. So, don't be afraid to leave me a comment and like let me know about things. But friends, with all that said, like always, remember, be positive, be you, take time to invest in your future. It is so flippin' important. I can't stress that enough, friends. I hope you all become filthy rich in the stock market and you have a life falling asleep on the beach, fishing your heart out. But friends, I will talk to you very soon. Take care. Thank you guys. Talk soon. Bye everyone.